Hello, everyone. Welcome to YGG SPL's podcast, Into the Splinterlands. My name is RoguePatton, and tonight I am joined by two of my favorite frequent guests. First off, we have Tails from the Cryptmaster with us tonight. What's going on, Tails?
What's up, bro? Good evening. How are you?
Oh, good evening. Good evening. I'm doing fantastic. It's been a good week so far. And then to my right, not showing his beautiful face tonight, but we've all seen it before. We know it's there. The stash himself, Lorkus.
I do have a face. It's true.
I have a face. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight, guys. We have a rather slow week, I would say, in the world of Splinterlands, but overall still like fast with the releases, very consistent with the town halls, consistent with the communications, so nothing still really to complain about there. But I think what we wanted to do was we want to kind of start off on one of these Splinterlands side hustles in Splinter Forge, because they had a very interesting development this week. Tails, what Splinter Forge do?
They publish new terms of service, and you actually have to accept them. Well, earlier I think when you log into the site, you had to click a box accepting them. Now I think they just say by logging in, you accept our terms of service. But they published it. They have a link on their site at the bottom, and yeah, it looks like it was drafted by lawyers and whatnot for the
It
game.
looks like it. Oh my goodness.
But what's interesting, if you scroll down to it's under the section called prohibited activities. It's on page 4, I believe.
The good stuff.
Yeah, we'll get straight to the good stuff. We don't mess around here. So here, if you read this, Rogue, I think it'll be interesting for the audience because they're taking a stand here, and rightfully so. I think, in my opinion, just my personal opinion, because they've got a new game, a new ecosystem, and for it to be sustainable, I think they want to send a message here and say, look, this is how it's going to work here, and this is how to kind of for this game to forward. Math is, if you have too many minuses and not enough pluses, things go bad, and this is kind of why I think they put in this prohibited activities section.
Okay, so let's go ahead and read it. So you agree not to interact or authorize any other on your behalf to interact or otherwise fucking lawyers. Otherwise promote or facilitate interaction. I know, right? Facilitate interaction on the website in a manner that, 1, is contrary to the terms or game mechanics, or 2, as per our determination, amounts to be cheating, farming, or such other activity which may adversely impact Splinter Forge or website experience by others, or 3, that has the potential to offer a user an unfair advantage over others, or automates. I was like automates. I didn't even see that word at all. I was like, when I first read it, I thought he was talking like auto chess, and I was like, oh, that's weird to put that in there. It's like automates. I wonder what that is. Aspects of gameplay or other unfair practices such as creation or use of multiple logins, sharing your account, participating in win trading with other. Wait, how do you win trade in Splinter Forge?
Who knows?
That must be future proofing. That has to be future.
It really feels like they were trying to spray all the ways that you could be ungamesman-like, or whatever the right term is.
In all games, not even theirs.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like, if we find out that you got a red card in soccer this week, we're banning you.
You could be banned.
You could be banned.
Better be ready.
Participating in win trading with other users or otherwise acting contrary to the spirit of Splinter Forge. Engagement in any prohibited activities may result in restriction, suspension, or termination, or your use or access to the website.
I think you nailed it.
Woo! That was vague, and heavy in words.
I think Virus got it exactly right. If you want to share his.
Automates, the new dating site for ChatGPT. Oh man, it could be like a dating site for bot farmers. It's just automates.
Oh,
Botfarmsonly.com.
that's it. That's it.
Damn it, Virus.
Oh, it's gone full circle now.
Oh, glad you're here, brother. Glad
Got
you're
a new
here. Virus.
hashtag for you.
Oh goodness, hashtag automates. No, don't do this. What's your hashtag?
No, I was just going with your. I mean,
No.
you called it.
Crap. Darn it. This is why. We always had an ongoing thing in Force of Will when we were playing, and it was like all the most competitive players don't actually read their cards. Like nobody knows how to read. Like nobody reads their cards when they're a competitive trading card game player. So I feel like that sits here. Like I don't know how to read. Pretty illiterate. So not. But yeah, so this is a very like they definitely went out of their way here, like to officially write up something by the lawyers. But also them saying because they're just a team of two, right? It's just a family, like two brothers that are kind of running Splinterforge right now. That's as big as their team is.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the details, but I think it's like two main individuals. Yes.
Yeah, because in here they specifically just like they are the judge and the jury is what it sounds like, as per our determination.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, as you're hinting, there's the potential for this to get abused in the opposite direction of players exploiting the game. But it
100%.
clear that they wanted to come down on making sure that the game promoted fair play and not exploitation.
Well, I mean, it's a self-preserving stance because they realize that if bots invade their game, in the first month of play, they don't have a game in the second month of play. So because it's based on the economy and the token, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense if they were seeing behaviors that were driving down token prices and causing issues with the economy in the game.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this really plays out because at the end of the day, this is the counter argument by the Splinterlands team, right? Is they're like, all right, if you do this is what they said. They're like, this is the way that you do this, and they've refused to do this, right? I'm not going to be the arbiter of who can and can't. They are saying, yes, we will be the arbiter of who can and can't. And so I'm actually really interested to see how this plays out.
The most
this will be a nice litmus test, basically.
The most interesting to me is that they're basing this a lot on Splinterlands, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And to take a very different approach to Splinterlands as far as bots and automation goes is interesting. I don't think it's... To me, that's the most interesting part. Not necessarily. I don't play the game, so it's. I'm happy they're taking a stance. That's fine. I just find it very interesting that it's the opposite of what Splinterlands is taking.
Yeah, because I would say of like this game would be easier to program and run a bot for than Splinterlands, right? Like my experience with the game is there's only like you just set the same team, and if you don't get your rule set, you throw out a 15 mana nothing, and then you just wait till your rule set pops up, and then you run your team, right? Did that change at all, or are we just running the same team, Tails?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty consistent as a strategy with the game right now, where the game's at. I think they have added some new rule sets to the monsters or the bosses with essentially a death blow and a true strike, which makes for kind of some foils of some existing meta teams in place. So you're probably having to run a lot more, reset teams maybe per se.
Okay.
But I think as they continue to adjust and adapt, I think we'll see more of that happening. I mean, I think they've been active in their Discord as far as I can tell, soliciting feedback from the community and not necessarily making changes, willy-nilly, but having conversations, discussing it, trying things out, reversing things if they're not working. So I think their efforts are, come from a good spot, and they seem to be, working with the community and trying to make the game as good as it can be. So
Oh, look at that. I am now accepting spirit. I will follow the spirit of Splinter Forge, and it will guide me.
Judged by them.
I will. By the gods. I will have spirit. Get my shit right. All right. Wow, that's a lot of forge. Actually, that's not a lot of forge. Boo. So I'm actually currently selling all my cards. So I have reached... Oh, actually, no, that is a lot of forge. Yay! Because I already cashed out once. So that's like another 38,000. Yay! So, yeah, I've... so, like, in the beginning, I was playing Splinter Forge. I enjoyed it. It was new. It was fresh. And I was just kind of converting all my forge back into cards and packs and all that stuff. And so I had something leveled up. And in the very beginning, I leaderboarded a couple times, turned that into more packs, leaderboarded packs, stuff like that. But the game evolved to the point where you had to play for the entire life of the boss. And I just don't have a lifestyle that promotes that kind of game, where like you can't miss and you have to be super optimal with your experience, and also everybody with the optimized teams now, and the really beefed up I don't know what do they call them, the warrior, what are those, your heroes, like with the really beefed up stuff, people are putting together like a lot of damage that I don't have in my cards. You definitely have to go rent for it. And so the game quickly just became run this one team. It does a lot of damage and play for the entire life of the boss. And it's just farming, So there quickly wasn't a strategy to play this game anymore. It became just like almost like what's that other, Rising Star? You log in, you click the thing, you do the thing, and then you just come back and do it again later when it's time to do it, right? Not really a lot of thought. And so yeah, it wasn't really a game at that point that I wanted to be a part of, so I started selling all of my cards as soon as the market really came online, because I figured that was a pretty good time. I waited patiently for the market. I don't like over-the-counter trades, so that's why I just waited for the market to come. And then, so yeah, now I'm cashing out of Splinter Forge. But Tails, you're still actively playing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started a little bit earlier and had maybe a little bit longer runway to level up my hero and get to a point where, essentially that I don't have any costs in the game. So from that perspective, yeah, I mean, I'm still playing, excuse me. And, I would agree with your points. So, I mean, the bosses are, they've leveled up the abilities and the health now, so they're taking multiple days to defeat. And to your point is, if you have to work or you're not by a computer and it's not really mobile friendly, you miss out on a mana, 500 mana, run here or there, stamina run. It hurts you in the game, and that attention, the detail becomes, like you mentioned, maybe a little tedious. So I think they have to find a balance of the right boss duration for rewards and the right payouts for tokens, so as not to basically tank their prices of the tokens as well.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. I would say to balance that out, especially when you're running 4 leaderboards, 4 bosses, a lot of different players, banging at it. So, I hope they are able to balance everything out, because I think the ability to use your cards outside of Splinterlands for other games, I think it's a powerful concept, and I'd like it to be successful. Like, the nice thing about this is, the cards that you and I have either owned or rented in Splinterlands, we can use in this game. So it's basically double use or double value for something we already, own or pay to rent. So from that perspective, I like that concept. So I hope they are successful in dialing it in and tuning it. I do think it will be also a big quality of life adjustment for them, or improvement, if they can add like a favorite teams. Like if you had, like 5 saved team slots, or maybe you could burn Forge to, add a save team slot for your account or something like that, where you could, have your teams kind of locked and loaded, so you weren't clicking, refreshing, and scrolling and doing all this other stuff every single battle. I think that would be helpful as well. And this is just the beginning of the game. I think the game is still only two months old, basically 2 months and a week. So at least from a live perspective. So it's already, gone through a lot of changes. And, I think if they can open up more complexity or game mechanics, and also maybe additional game modes and usage with the heroes and the equipment and other things like that, I think it's definitely something to stick around and see what happens. But I can definitely appreciate your standpoint as well, to say, hey, this isn't for me. I'm going to get out while I can, and, at least be profitable on it, which is certainly, a reasonable thing to do as well.
Yeah. Lorkus, you did anything with Splinter Forge?
No, I did absolutely nothing.
Do you have anything like kind of sitting around? Like, do you have Forge? Maybe from, I think, because they were doing an airdrop, weren't they, for a little bit? Or
they were doing airdrops and tournaments. Tournaments were rewarding Forge before the game was released as well. So,
yeah, I think one of the things that I wouldn't mind seeing in Splinter Forge, which I've kind of seen in other boss style games, is like a cooldown on the card specifically, right? So like you could only use the card once every 24 hours, right? So then you would get to the point where you're promoting people that have deep collections, right? Have multiple BCXs of a single card, right? So like instead of like, because right now what you can run 10 teams to 10 or 11 teams before you run out of that.
It depends on which team you run, but yeah, if you use the standard 45 mana, it'd be like 10 teams. And I think you're right there from a game mechanic perspective. This is what I mentioned, being able to tune the game and adjust it and stuff to make it challenging, fun, and not abusable. And there's other games, and I'm sure we've all played them. My frame of reference is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, I played that for a minute.
Yeah, when they have the game mode where basically you have all your cards. You can use your cards to form teams on offense or defense, but you can only use the card once, and that's it. It's burnt. And then, it really makes you think about, hey, what team am I going to use? How am I going to optimize the team composition?
Optimize your collection, right?
Exactly. And I think that could add a unique element to the game. Again, like you said, rewarding those that have, assets to be able to leverage. Again, but then people would say, well, now it's, pay to play or pay to win, where basically the more cards you have, the better you're going to do.
You're kind of right. Yeah. Cause I mean, I'm talking from the perspective right now of like, I am not participating in this game because I don't have the time that everybody else has to log into this. Right. I think the people that I've seen that are participating most heavily in this are the people that spend a good amount of their day on the computer anyway, right? Or at least those are the ones that I'm seeing participate the most in this. But yeah, because there's no real way to like sit down and do this. Like sitting down and doing Splinter Forge for an hour in your day yields you nothing. And the game's not fun for that hour. So that's where I'm like, that's not a game then. That's not a game I want to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I think, it depends as well. Because if you're leaderboarding, let's say you're getting top 20 on a diamond boss or top 10 on a gold boss. I mean, 30,000 forge, even at the depressed prices, that we're at right now, which I'd say are lower than they were. Let's say it's 55 Swintoshis. I mean, still over $16 US for
Yeah.
that. So is it, are you going to retire off that? No, but I mean, can you make $16 like a day in Splinterlands? Probably not, unless you're a gold alpha tournament player.
Well, I mean, odds that if you're top 20 on the diamond, like you have to have some kind of collection there, right?
No, I mean you could technically just rent a 1b6 kitty llama and some fiends and be good to go. I mean you could. I mean I haven't priced out the specific DEC rental cost, but if you have a hero that you've invested in, you could probably rent a Splinter Forge team for a fairly reasonable price to obviously profit.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Understandable. So yeah, Splinter Forge not doing too bad. Terms of service. We'll have to watch it. See what they end up doing. But yeah, nothing too crazy in the town hall this week. Nothing obnoxious to go over there. But I did like hearing Dave McCoy. I've always been a big fan of Dave's. I'm very glad that he's one of the community leaders for us. And he spent some time kind of repurposing or preparing the community for the upcoming rehash of the take SPS out of the DAO and go get big exchange listings with them. So that was pretty cool. What were you guys' thoughts? If you did hear, like, how do you think the community team, how do you think they're doing so far?
well, can I start with this, Lorkus? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I wanna give a shout out to Dave McCoy specifically. I was actually I think the last time I was in Mav chat, I had seen him discussing different topics, and I had just mentioned in Mav chat. I said, "Hey Dave, have you checked my latest video?" At the time I was talking about soulbound reward cards. And I said, "Hey, this is something that." If you look at the comments in the video, that the community might be interested in discussing as a topic. And Dave set up a time. We talked on Discord voice, and he made the time. He watched the videos, he sat down and talked with me. So that's kind of what I would expect out of a community leader, right? So shout out to Dave for doing that. He didn't have to do that, but he did. Now whatever happens with it, I don't know, but he took the time and reached out, and that follow-up and that activity this is not his job. He wasn't required to do that, but he did. And so good on him for that. And I like to see someone who's active in a community and willing to have the conversations and do the due diligence as required. That to me is important. Now that being said, I mean, depends on who you talk to. Like if you've watched Gank, you've seen probably some of his comments on the whole community leadership role, which I think is fair. But we also have stuff going on in the game that not necessarily Splinterlands, but let's say GLG or GLX side that also involves community leaders, but maybe not the best look, honestly, in the grand scheme of things. So it's kind of all across the board right now what's going on with the leadership role. At the end of the day, let's see what change, let's see what bubbles up from this unofficial capacity, and give it a chance and see where we go from here.
Yeah, my first experiences with Dave was in the spring training program, right? So the spring training tournaments that they do they make just essentially their own NFTs of Splinterland cards on the Wax blockchain and create a whole pack system and distribute them out in tournaments. Like really free tournaments, I think, or 1 DEC tournaments, just to promote tournaments in Splinterlands. And it was a really cool thing to do every week, or I think it was every couple of days, at least twice a week maybe. And I got to talk to him a lot for that, because I was streaming on Splinterlands TV and kind of promoting through there. And then, like, from that relationship, I've just gotten with him occasionally, like, I've been like, hey Dave, like, what is the thoughts on this? Or like one day I was super curious about a lot of the history of Splinterlands. I'm like, hey, back then, like, do you guys remember, like, what was the sell rate of Untamed? Like, what was the lowest price of Untamed? Like, what was the sentiment when it was at its lowest price? Did you guys try to burn Untamed? You know, like, a lot of historical stuff. And he didn't know the answers for all of them, but he put me into contact with other people that did. So, like, Dave was that kind of person where he was like, I don't really remember, but this guy does. And so, like, he would send a DM and be like, hey, Rogue's gonna get a hold of you, like, and ask you these questions, and he'd make these connections. The man is, like, almost picture perfect Hive, you know what I mean? He is the social network a lot with a lot of the older crowd, you know, that's been here forever. And he is not, like, that's not behind a gate. It's not behind a wall with Dave. Like, Dave will freely talk to anybody that is, you know, involved. And so, yeah, no, that's, I'm super glad to hear him on the town hall talking about this. I was actually hoping it'd be up, but it's not. So, but what were you saying, Tails?
No, I was just going to say, since we're shouting out kind of valued community members, I also wanted to shout out another one that isn't necessarily a community leader, but one who represents kind of the same qualities that you mentioned, kind of that OG, you know, link and connection to the past, for especially for those of us who haven't been there, who, you know, who's available and stuff like that. And that's Vet V. In Discord and Mav, and you know, I've had a number of conversations with Vet as well, similar to Dave. And you know, these guys are, like you said, they're out there, they're taking their own time to chat with the community and to answer questions and just to be good stewards of the game and the game's history. So you know, I think that's what we need more of, honestly. And shout out to those that are doing that type of work, you know, like you said, just because that's who they are, right? So
yeah, and I mean, and they're, yeah, because they don't make content so much, like, they can almost kind of seem more in the background, but like, they're more accessible than most content creators. You know, like, once you see them and you're able to kind of start that conversation, yeah, they're so accessible and so willing to share. But yeah, so I was hoping that new hashed out proposal was going to be up, because I was actually a fan of the last one. I didn't really know too much about it, and I wasn't really sure about it until that town hall, when they kind of brought him on and they were talking about it and validated, you know, the process a little bit and kind of talked about it. I was pretty excited at that point. And actually, after that town hall, I actually went back into my SPS position, because before that, my portfolio was more DEC than SPS, like, waiting for those to kind of, like, further drift apart, right, as SPS kind of approaches zero. But I was really kind of thinking at that moment, I was like, well, if this is where they're at, like, and if we're this close to something, or it's a possibility at any moment, I feel like I want to just be back in my SPS position. So
yeah, it's an interesting. So you know, I have thoughts on the proposal, but we have to see the second round to see what it looks like before I can give you definitive thoughts. But generally speaking, I think it's an interesting train of thought there, Rogue, that you mentioned, because you know, we have SPS staking requirements technically around the corner, right? Hopefully soon. And if that happens to hit, at the same time, let's say a Coinbase SPS listing were to hit, what would that do for you as a player of the game, right? Because on one hand, maybe the token pumps and you could sell the token, but maybe at that same time, now you're like, well, hey, I kind of need this token if I want to earn more tokens in the game. So what do you do? And that's kind of the perfect storm you want for at least demand on a token, is you want to have kind of that push pull, kind of like, hey, do I really want to sell? Or you don't want to just have one or the other, meaning you have a listing, you have nothing else going on in the game. So it's like, hey, this pumped, like 10%, sell it all, ship it, right? So, but where, again, if you have a scenario where, hey, it's like, hey, I kind of need this to play the game or, do whatever, then you got to kind of think twice. And then what does that do for the value if everyone's thinking twice at that point in time?
Yeah, we got to burn it for DC.
When we get to that point, that's going to be I don't know. I think it'll be easy for us who have seen SPS as low as it has been, right? Like, I feel like anything north of 10 cents, I will be very, like, easy to burn. You know what I mean? I don't know. Any other thoughts on that?
I don't like burning stuff, but, it'll be better than burning it at 0 cents or whatever we're at now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of my current plays or strategies is to farm soulbound reward cards. And if I'm going to need SPS to keep that farming going, then that's for me something that I need to keep in mind moving forward as well. So, I mean, it all depends on what your goals are and what your vision is, and your time frame, and whatever.
So sounds like you see a lot of value in selling all your SPS for nothing.
No. no, not necessarily.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with the soulbound reward cards, but I've been experimenting. Honestly, I've been trying to figure out exactly how to best manage my collection with bots, like, and that's it's honestly, it's unlocked a new aspect of the game for me, because those of you that have been on the stream and have followed me for the last year plus, I'm very anti, like, bot, right? Like, I'm a one account, or I was like a one account, like, this is it, kind of guy. But as I've been now, because of the soulbound reward cards, and because I really, really want them, and because I believe
you're willing to debase yourself.
I really have. I've opened up the door, really. And let's be real, Lorkus, it was actually you.
It's a gateway drug.
It was you. You are my gateway drug. It was one weekend in Vegas with Lorkus.
That'll do it to you, anybody.
Blew everything out the water for me. Because, like, this man was like, we're just in the hotel room, and I'm like, man, Splinterfest is just like, it's consuming. Like, I haven't logged any of my ranked battles. Like, I haven't done my tournaments. Like, I don't have time. Like, I'm having so much fun in real life at Splinterfest. I can't play the game right now. And Lorkus is like, I got what you need. And this man gave me a beta Archmage bot, and I haven't been the same since.
The first one's always free, Rogue.
Right? Yeah, the first one's always free, and I'm a return customer. So it's honestly, I say that in jest, but that's a legit timeline, and that's legit what happened. As soon as
I can destroy anyone,
I got to see the real benefit, and I mean, honestly, the benefits in my real life as well. Like, because I would say I do have not a mental disorder, like anything like bad, but like I do have compulsive tendencies, and it's always been a part of my character, and it's a lot of times what draws me to trading card games and games like this, you know what I mean, is that compulsive nature, to just dive in and be the best, right? And so to know that something is making sure my ECR is never at 100% is such a relief in my real life. And it's hard to like explain that to most, because like most people would be like, yeah, well, I think you're addicted. And I would say, yes, I am addicted. And I now have this fun little shiny robot that helps like curve my addiction. Like,
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. Maybe you don't have to think about that you're addicted necessarily, but that it does give you time back to do other things that you care about. And
yeah.
it makes the gameplay a little different. You can focus on tournaments, you can focus on managing the market or whatever, but it allows you to focus on different things.
And I think that's what's unlocked for me is now I have a collection over my own, because I'm stuck in the middle between silver and gold, and I've already like that hasn't
I feel
changed.
like there's a song in there. I feel like if someone hasn't written that song, they need to.
Right? So
After
like
sound.
I'm not going to combine halfway. I never will. I do not believe that is financially the right decision ever, is to combine halfway between sets.
Well, what do you feel about 50 BCX Gin Chihuahuas? I noticed there were like 3 of those on the market today, and I just had to laugh. They were the lowest price per BCX, but I still couldn't do it.
Let's go look at those Gin Chihuahuas.
See if they're still there.
Yeah, so I have an in between collection. I have my playing silver deck, and then I have extras. Especially gold foils. Like when I pull gold foils, I've actually wanted to keep them, but they literally do nothing on my main. Like I am maxed out silver, a 1 BCX gold foil does me nothing, right? But I don't want it. So I don't want it to do me nothing. I'd rather put it in a separate account and just let a bot play with it, you know? And so yeah, I've gotten to this new level of manager, I would say, and I'm actually finding enjoyment in it. Like it's weird to say that I'm actually enjoying managing multiple accounts, seeing what they do with minor tweaks, not playing multiple accounts. Good Lord help me if that ever happened. I would have to not have a job. If I didn't have a job, I could probably play 5 accounts, but
would you want to? Like, that doesn't even sound like a fun job.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. There are people that do it.
More power to them. It doesn't sound fun to me.
I'm kind of with you. Tails, what about you? You're farming.
I'm not smart enough. If I was good enough at this game that I could do it without thinking, maybe running 5 counts would be no problem. But it takes too much effort for me. Like, I would be exhausted.
Yeah. So who did this? Why did they do this? Screw them.
That's failure. I don't know.
Plus 4 BCX on a max level.
I just don't understand how that happens with multiple of them. But it did.
Oh, you goof. Yeah. You. Well, honestly, it's right here. The whiskey is evil, right? It's evil whiskey. Whiskey. Or is it whiskers? No, it's whiskers. Yeah, so I think it's whiskey, honestly. It's probably the liquor.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Problem solved.
50 BCX.
So if anybody wants a 50 BCX Gin Chihuahua, now's the time.
Bruh. 50. It's just a waste of 4 cards. It's not even nice.
We've got Luke in the chat.
What's going on, Luke? What up, friends? How long are you guys going for? Probably till about you jump on. We'll jump off.
Yeah.
But no, bro, you can jump on. You got the link. Just jump on in here. But yeah. AM, the new methadone for addicted SPL players. I mean, dude, you're not wrong.
It's just full of the one-liners tonight.
You're not wrong, but like I've even started to like I've been exploring with my bots at this point. Like the first bot, clearly, I only knew the one, so I was like, I'm just gonna go buy me an Archmage token, and I did, right? So Charmander's running on an Archmage token, but Squirtle's actually on Splintermate. So I'm trying that out for the very first time, and super frustrated because that dude Squirtle can't get out of bronze 2. He's playing at like a 50% win rate, and he's just
I don't know that I can get out of bronze 2.
Dude,
like it's brutal sometimes.
Squirtle is just like
bronze is rough.
So I've I can tell you that, you know, I've tried Splinter Mate, I've tried Archmage, I've tried Xbot. I haven't tried Xbot Lite, but it's, you know, the same thing, just reduced league levels. And there's definitely strengths and weaknesses to all of those services, depending on your collection and which league level you play at, unfortunately. So there's a little bit of trial and error there, I will say.
Yeah. Yeah, so Splintermate, like the dashboard, I've actually enjoyed looking and exploring through that. It definitely seems to be set up for like a lot of accounts, and setting up like a rental, like it'll do some automated rentals for you. Like you can set up a rental deck and it'll hit and you set prices and it'll go do it by itself. I haven't gotten to that level of botting yet. I'm still just playing with my cards because I still just don't want to manage rentals. I don't like I haven't experimented that much yet where I'm like, oh, I'm a champion player, but I'm not really. I'm just renting.
So you
I
haven't
haven't
reached
tried that yet.
You haven't reached that level of degen yet.
Not yet. But I feel like
you got levels to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I've like, what's the next step? I don't know. I think it's just straight champion rentals. I don't like, the thought has crossed my mind of just using my collection to like give it a season, and then once it gets to like silver and gold on season reset, then switch it to like a rental account. So that way I'm not like renting through bronze on a fresh account. Like I'm just giving like an account like a halfway jump start, and then like equip it and just let it go and just keep moving my collection to a new Pokemon. And
could you imagine the Rogue from 6 months ago if they were to listen to this conversation?
Oh, dude, it would be. I mean,
you'd be
honestly,
so disappointed with yourself.
It's it's interesting. This is actually probably a pretty good segue also into one of Tails's recent videos. And at the end of the day, the sad fact, it's not even a sad fact, it's just the facts are that Splinterlands is not currently set up to promote or to encourage or to breeds the wrong word, but to just
promote, I don't know, you're talking about exploring with your bots.
Yeah, right. To that kind of gaming mindset, you know, it's not that way right now. It is.
Do you think that'll change with land? Sorry to just derail your whole thought.
No, I think land will make it worse at the end of the
perfect.
day.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say.
Because yeah, I mean, land is until they get to. Oh, my wife is making waffles. Oh my goodness, 9:50 p.m. waffles.
Oh man, I thought that was like one of the next phases of Splinterlands development that was going to help us.
Oh, she's making waffles. They'll smell great.
Sorry,
flashback to like when I was a kid. These waffles. Anyway, but yeah, I think land's just going to be big on DeFi at the end of the day. It's going to be a whole kingdom building thing that isn't really tied into cards, and I don't know, probably 3 years from getting spells at this point. That was
we might have some lumber.
Yeah, exactly, right. I'm gonna just throw wood at I'm gonna curve my words. So
oh man, we're not using phrasing anymore.
Nah, phrasing.
You can take your Automate subscription and go to your DEC wood liquidity pool.
Right.
Your deck wood.
Oh man, spent a lot of time on my land today. I got a lot of wood. I need to go to Automate. Automate.com. I need to get rid of this wood. Crap. Can we name our land plots? This is gonna be great. This is gonna be a dirty place. But anyway,
as long as they require like 2 vouchers and 1,000 DC, I'm all for it. To rename a lot.
Right. So yeah, Tails, you wanna give kind of the cliff note on that video I'm referencing?
Which video?
It's the one with esports, essentially, the tournaments.
Oh, yeah, that one. So there was a little mouse that had kind of given me some insight into the battle helper, a hand selection kind of hand picker or hand recommending tool.
Picker.
Yeah, so yeah, it was interesting to see that in action, and to, it's kind of interesting because it levels the playing field, I would say, honestly, for those that have been running private bots possibly for years. Now the general public has an option. Granted, they have to pay for it and to use it, but it brings up a lot of philosophical questions for the game. And I think, and we had a conversation on this on Discord the other day about it, because I figured this would be something that you would have a passionate opinion one way or the other about, just because of your kind of your tournament focus and your game. What do I call it? Your game purity, or your, I don't know how I would describe it, but you have a.
I've already defiled him. He's not pure anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Lorkus took my purity in Vegas.
What stays in Vegas?
It didn't. It came back with me. It's been running my account ever since.
Well, I'd get that checked out, Rogue. Sounds like a problem.
You should probably get a cream for that.
Get a cream. But yeah, no, it was weird because you texted me this, right? I watched your video, and I was just numb. I was numb. That was the best way to describe this video. And you're like, you texted me and you were like, hey, and I was like, yeah, I watched it. And you were like, yeah, and I was just numb. I was like, I don't. There's no. I don't. I almost half just expected this in the first place anyway, right? Like I'd already processed and came to the conclusion
didn't already exist. Like the APIs have been there since the beginning. This has to already exist, and someone just made one that everyone else can use.
Yeah. So like, and at this point, like we had an option. I would say, I don't know, Weirdbeard's been championing it for like a couple months now. Like, draw the line somewhere. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, the easiest line to draw is brawls and tournaments. Like, just draw the line in brawls and tournaments. Have your rank play, draw the line, but they didn't. So I don't. This is what I expect. It's no different than ranked. It's people see it as yield, and they're gonna do whatever they can to get the yield, right? Like, it's just part of the game.
Is this the sort of thing that you think the DAO could take up a vote for if you're that passionate about it? Do you think that you could convince people to make the DAO force the company to do it, or are they not leaving this in the hands of the DAO? You even have that. I try to ignore map chat just for
What's interesting now, I the
for Tails, you're breaking up. Hold on.
Someone's remixing Tails.
Remix.
Nice.
Try it one more time.
So no, I was just saying, I think the DAO has control over the prize pool for tournaments, is what's been alluded to, I think, in maybe Mav Chat or the Town Hall. I don't know specifically. That's a whole different slippery slope. But, in theory, if the SPS pool for the tournaments is, has some precedent to have the DAO have, I guess, governance over that, then you would have the ability to have a DAO vote to say, hey, can we, define something here. My point in the video is I don't think there's a way you can block it or prevent it, honestly, easily. And
it is. I think that's wrong. I think it is very easy to stop. I hope they don't stop it. Just to be full disclosure, I agree with Tails that this is a game leveler more than anything else at this point. But to me, it is easy to stop. If they want to, all you do is make this an API that's not public. It needs a key to access, and you can log in with your own key, but just rate limit it. And this is no longer a thing anymore. This is killable.
Yeah, but then the question Lorkus would go to, why couldn't you do that with ranked battles as well? If you could do it for
absolutely could, but the question is, they've said that you're talking about drawing a line. Is my point. Well, in drawing a line, and to me, you can draw a line. I'm not saying that you should, but I think you can. I don't think it's technically difficult. The question is if they're going to, and if you're going to try to force their hand to, I guess is my point.
Yeah, and I agree with you technically on that stance, but Matt has specifically come on to the town hall and said that is not the case. I disagree with that, but then I guess Matt, I mean, I don't say I guess. I mean, Matt does know better than I do for
Certainly,
sure.
like he may have an issue where they can't actually do that easily. And time to
Yeah.
refactor your code if that's the case. But what do I know?
Yeah, so for me, I guess I was already at the point where I was positive that the majority of people in tournaments probably had no business being there. But at the end of the day, the company's just gonna have to figure out a way to, if they value esports, right? And that's really what it comes down to is esports specifically. It's not just a place of competition that you can be alone. You know what I mean? That's not, you have to kind of put yourself at the audience of your peers. You know what I mean? That's, in my opinion, one of the definitions of esports is being able to perform in front of others, right? And
you think that this esports should really be live events anyway? Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah, or screen captured in a way that, you know, is like 100% documented. But yeah, I would say yes, it would be best in person. And they talked about it at Splinterfest. You know, this is something that Aftersound was having conversations with. You know, it was like, you know, if we got something going in Chicago, how many people would come if we did that like every couple of months, right? If we just did a live event in there, right? Then you would start to be making, you know, the stars out of people. Or, you know, you just go to like my stream on Splinterlands TV. My stream on Splinterlands TV, you can literally watch me play, and like you can see by my eyes, and you can see by my conversation, and you can see by just my whole demeanor that I'm playing unassisted. You know, it's not, you can't on camera. It's pretty difficult to hide if you're being assisted in your stuff. And so that's where, you know, like that's what I mean. It's you need the audience, right? And then but this is where the team or the company has to decide that there's value in that, and then promote it in a way that is. And so I would maybe argue Splinterlands TV is that. I think they've actually done a really good job of promoting Splinterlands TV and the streamers. They've done a great job of compensating us for our services and for the entertainment value that we offer. So maybe that is the first step. But yeah, I would say in person is probably the next level in terms of competition, because you wouldn't do this. Like you wouldn't do, if you knew you had a tournament up in a month and you had to like you had to be on stage and you had to play yourself and you were going to be at the judgment and the cheers of your peers, like you wouldn't spend that month letting a bot play your account. Like you'd be playing your account, you would be playing matches, you would be like honing your skills, right? And just right now there's no reason to do that. Just yield.
Yeah, I mean, I have two follow-up comments on this, Rogue, and you know, it's one is, well, first off, welcome to drama. Hello, how was that chicken?
I'm just here for the drama and for my chicken. It's pretty good. It's got a spicy Thai peanut sauce. If you ever come to Portland, you gotta hit up Fire on the Mountain. Just the wings.
So yeah. I did have a question about your chicken.
Yeah.
Your phrasing earlier, it was at least vague to me. Were you making your chicken furiously, or is it furious that you were making it, or are you furious about eating it? Like, what's the actual furious part? Of this chicken?
No, it's like a furious chicken.
Oh.
It's like a furious chicken.
Did you not pick up on that?
So it's basically just a zero cost chicken. Like, how'd you get free chicken?
Yeah,
how'd you get free chicken?
Well, there's a place called Grocery Outlet. They just pretty much give it away for free. Probably has salmonella in it, but
Nice.
Oh, there you go. So there's this
tastes
one
good.
attack. Is the salmonella.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna
Yeah, it'll
inspire
be
it, and buff it up though.
We're getting pretty close to like a really weird world where like the chicken is cheaper than the egg. Which
Oh my god!
from
That's a good point.
Which
from
came first?
just standard supply chain economics, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't seem sustainable.
Nope.
I put it that way.
So if I keep my chicken alive, it'll make me more money than if I slaughter it. Long-term play. Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
You had a couple comments, Tails.
Oh yeah, well the first one is, I think we're a long ways away from esports in Splinterlands. There's not going to be a Splinterfest this year, as Weirdbeard has alluded to. The team's abandoned that because of,
No one told me. Guys, you're supposed to keep me updated. What the heck?
my bad.
You missed the
You-
first hour of the
you're
show.
here.
We talked about it.
True.
You-
That's true.
You
Sorry.
just
Keep going.
corrected
Keep
it.
going. I ruined your flow.
No, you're good. But I just think we're so far away from esports. And to your point, Rogue, is I mentioned on the video, I do think where esports and where tournaments will be pure is in person, it's live, and we're so far away from that. So that doesn't give me high hopes for that aspect of the game to take off here in 2023. And then my second point is, honestly, Rogue, you mentioned you were numb when you saw the Battle Helper.
Yeah.
For me, I was sad because for me, I knew. Well, maybe I didn't know, but for me, when I see a player like yourself who's so passionate about tournaments and the game in its pure sense of just playing the game, for you to be kind of like this kind of sucks and kind of have to question, life, that hurts me because it does, because you are kind of like you yourself, Darkest Night. You guys are the players of this game that are here for the game, and what happens when we lose you? Right, then we have big problems, right? So that for me, that's when you said you were numb. That's why I was sad. So
It's a
I'm
pretty
sorry.
big red flag. I mean, I was like kind of competitive, like I had more of a gamer mindset. and
We
I
had
lost
a minute
hope.
there.
But the fact that Rogue has lost hope, that's like another level, man. That's like, whoa.
Unplugged myself. Yeah, dude, we had a minute there. That was fun when you were fucking topping tournaments and shit. That was
Yeah,
great.
man. And then I got a life.
Yeah, and you went to Diamond on a scholar account. What a bitch.
Nah, I'm diamond my own account, boy. Get wrecked.
it's whale gaming now. It's not crow gaming. Got to change that
Dude.
branding.
All right, the cancellation of Splinterfest just gave me a great idea because the devs need more to work on, anyways, right?
Yeah.
What if instead
That seems
they
like a
give us-
universal constant. Yes.
Yeah, what if instead they give us an option? They actually make the phone app workable. You then bring in your phone app to a local trading card store, and you actually play local tournaments together from your devices. And Splinterlands can work with those local organizations to set up some like real tournaments, like they have like the MTG tournaments all around.
I love it. That is such a great
Boom.
idea.
Forget
I really like
Splinterfest.
that.
Like Splinterfest is so expensive anyways. Not that many people are gonna realistically make that. But
Well,
you set
if
up little
you-
mini tournaments across the world. Boom. You
And if you set up mini tournaments that somehow built towards Splinterfest, it could even be better.
Heck yeah, there you got your worlds. You got your
I mean, yeah, it
finals.
would be because that was one of the things that they didn't do right at Splinterfest was they didn't have a tournament structure set up outside of whatever infrastructure they had in game. So they literally tried to do the in-game tournament in person. Oh, that was not it. Wrong answer.
Did we get through all your points, Tails? I feel like we interrupted you so many times. I lost count.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Does
wanted
this
to make
happen
sure
to
that-
Tails every time? Are you,
Well, yeah,
do you
he's
hate us
way
now,
too-
Tails? Are you okay?
He's way too polite to like break back into the conversation after he's been interrupted. So we have to remember to invite him back because we just keep talking over him. Yeah.
Should we do some family counseling? My wife's a counselor.
Yeah, I need it. I'm numb and an addict. That's what we've concluded.
Addicted to
This-
automate.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the CEO
Oh,
and
man.
founder of Automates.com.
Tails is just taking the abuse of all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some fans out there for sure.
Yeah, Tails is literally the I heard that in one of your most recent videos. You're like into all my salt boys or something in the comments. Like you got like a consistent group following you around now, making sure they comment on every one.
Absolutely,
I
love
mean,
it.
You're like one of the few still making content, right? So of course you're gonna take heat no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also in like stark contrast to
Can you say that word again? Because that was a really good way of saying that.
Stark.
Yeah, that's the one. Stark with an H. It's very good.
Stark. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did probably put a nice little in it that I didn't need.
Oh, no, it's perfect. It's better.
It's a
Stark.
Midwestern accent.
Oh yeah, don't you know? But yeah, it was like you're kind of in stark contrast to like the rest of the content creators. I don't think really anybody's coming out with much criticism.
Yeah, and I don't think it's criticism in my mind. I mean, I'm just trying to share data and facts that I'm uncovering for myself as I'm researching the game, honestly. These are things that, because I'm an asset holder and an investor in Splinterlands. So, these are things that I'm actually curious about and looking into. And, I think one of the comments on my video from earlier today was, why am I focused on creating some of this content that people are seeming is creating, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the community? And, my point to them was the reason why I create the content that I create is because no one else is covering the topics, right?
Yep.
And yeah, I could tell you what happened on a town hall, or I could tell you about the GLX node presale that's coming out, but there's plenty of people that cover that content very well. And how many videos do you want to see about news that you can read on the Discord announcements or in PD? So I don't have the time to just repeat and create content that someone else has already created and covered very well. And two, if I'm going to create content on my channel, I want it to be something that's unique and that's something that adds a different perspective or at least value to perhaps someone. Now, it may not be you. Like as a viewer, you may not agree with the content and you may not find it valuable, but that's okay. There's plenty of other YouTubers that you can watch and plenty of other videos that you can, view. So have at it, have fun. But that's kind of why I do what I do, because like I said, I'm doing the research for myself anyways to understand, what moves I should be making in the game, where the game is going, trying to predict, what, things are going to be the most EV. Now, if you look at that data and you see something different, good. Then maybe you make a move and make some money based on it. And that's good for you. So
speaking of make moves and make money, these GLX nodes. So can I just start by saying why? Like
because we need it to run the game because it has lots of users right now.
Like it's like it's going to be the same code. It's going to be the same code that they don't have built yet for the other one. So why do they have to sell the product? Like why is this still a thing? Like in my mind, that was a mistake. Is them selling nodes like what was it, a year ago or something?
Oh, I've got a word for you, Rogue. I've got a word for you. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Pre-sale.
Yeah, pre-sale. Why? Like, what is the real? Why a node? Why?
Cash flow. I mean, the reason's obvious. The question in my mind is, why would they do it again?
Yeah. That's my. Or more specifically, who's gonna buy it? Like who? Okay, all right. And
someone will.
You guys. Maybe this is some of you guys, but like I'm gonna. You already fell for it once. Like you're gonna go again. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna get this one now.
Well, it seems like the best way to print GLGT.
Oh yeah,
have they even made any game?
No, they didn't
updates?
even say they were doing GLGT for this. They haven't even announced.
I'm just assuming.
No, yeah, God, I'm hoping they don't. Like that's at this point, and that Aftersound did a really good video on this one because right now GLGT is only for GLX staking. And that was also one of the mistakes. I agree with Aftersound on this one that they made, is they gave another outlet for voucher production instead of just SPS staking. So that way you had a choice. You were like, I could be a node holder and literally stake 0 SPS and still get vouchers, or I can stake SPS and get vouchers. This way, like they should totally just not have GLGT as a reward for running a node that nobody's running.
A hard stop there, because I was just going to say you shouldn't have GLGT. But
yeah, there's no node to run. There's nothing. Stop selling something that isn't a product.
You know what they should do? They should start doing post sales instead. No more pre-sales, just post sales.
Yeah, like it's just I have the technology. Here's the product. Yeah,
that's weird. I don't like that.
Weird.
I think I'm actually gonna start buying like everything pre. Like I'm just gonna buy a pair of shoes that's not released yet for like 2 years.
Right?
Just buy it now.
I should buy. Awesome. Just don't move, because if they ship it to your address and you moved, it's really crappy. But otherwise, it's really awesome when you get like tech surprises like a year from now. Like Kickstarters are great. Just like $20 for some random thing you bought when you're drunk, and then like a year later, you're like, oh my god, this is exactly what I always needed. Just don't move.
Why do I feel like you have a lot of those stories?
I have no idea why I gave you that impression.
So this is an interesting comment from Virus, basically saying, how much do you think it'll cost someone to run an SPL node or a GLX node if they don't have an extra PC or the ability to run it on their own? And we don't know the specs for that, technically speaking, yet, Virus, but if it's kind of like a minimum footprint, which they've alluded to, you can probably get like a VPS or a virtual private server, probably for like $10 to $15 a month that would run it. But therein is the point, is if you only have one license node, are you going to make $10 to $15 in SPS or vouchers to cover that cost? You really need multiple nodes, honestly, to scale, or to hop on someone else's VPS, and that causes issues with custody and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an interesting proposition for them to get to the decentralized network that they're searching for. But again, it all comes down to if you don't bring value to the tokens and the assets, no one's going to be here, because you're basically earning stuff that's not worth anything.
Yeah.
So going back to your question, Rogue, why do I post the content that I post? It's to identify potential issues in the current game mechanics or the data, so that they can be addressed and fixed, so that the game can be sustainable and can have a good future. I'm not a community leader. I don't have lines into Matt and Aggie. So how do I communicate? I use my YouTube channel.
Why aren't you community leader? I would have voted for you.
So my only comment, I guess, on that is, like, to me, if they do the requirements for nodes correctly, that it hopefully it's not going to require consistent uptime. Like, you won't be completely hosed by being down 10% of the time, and then you don't need to pay $15 for a VPS. You can run it off your home network with like a Raspberry Pi. If they do this correctly, I'm hoping that's what it is for people that aren't witnesses. You shouldn't need everyone to be up all the time and require a VPS for this network, I don't think.
Interesting. Yep. Yeah, for me, it's it was funny when Hardpoint came on and announced that. I let out a very audible "what the fuck" like while I was at work, because in my mind, like, that, how is that a priority? Like with the thing that doesn't have a game, like the thing that is on a timeline for a real physical season of a sport that they're trying to walk side by side with, and this is a priority. Like, I just, like,
it's hard to understand. I mean, to me, it's a mix. Like, to me, it's obvious why they need cash, but how much they really think they're going to make from this. At this point, I feel like you're kind of trying to squeeze blood from a stone. And as you pointed out, there's like a real deadline. What is it? It's in middle of May, right? May 14th or something. Like you need to have like a fully
Yeah.
functioning game by May 14th.
Yeah, we're already in the preseason for MLS, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
It feels like a mistimed and misunderstood cash grab. To me, you keep saying why, and I think it's obvious why. They want some more cash, but I don't know that they're actually going to get what they want.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they would that they're going to get much out of this either. I would actually be really curious if they even go out of the pre-sale, because but then there's also maybe that'll be how they get out of the pre-sale, because essentially what they've talked about is going to happen is they're going to have a pre-sale and then they're going to airdrop to match, to essentially get up to where they're in the same kind of tranche as the SPL nodes. So like I think we're going to skip tranche 1 and tranche, like, or we're in tranche 2. Like which one are we in now for like they're gonna airdrop and skip tranches essentially for the
I don't know. It's not confirmed yet. I mean, there's been some guesses that they've already said they're going to do 1,000 in the pre-sale, whereas the SPS nodes were 2,000 in the pre-sale. So there's been some guess that they would airdrop 1,000 to match the total number of nodes in the pre-sale between the two. I don't know if they're also going to give away, the full tranche 1 of SPS nodes. That would seem kind of crazy, but
what was tranche 1? I can't remember.
I want to say it was like 3,000. I don't know exactly. I have to double check.
So
yeah,
what
it's
is
been
going to
a
be
long time since I read that white paper at this point.
Yeah, but yeah, it just seems like yeah, I'm just I'm just waiting for the game, the packs, the cards, anything not DeFi oriented with this flipping project. And yeah, just not getting it. And so that might be another one where I just Daddy makes a dump here in about
what?
Here in about 3 months.
That's
Like,
really what our streams come down to. This
Right
is the
now.
phrasing we get.
You just reminded me to claim all my tokens and sell them. So thank you, Rogue.
You're welcome.
forgot.
You're
welcome. No, I've had a good amount of staked. Like I like the APR on it. I know the price will go up as soon as they get a game and as soon as like we start playing, you know what I mean? As soon as everything starts like going in that direction, or if anything MLS actually happens, you know what I mean? Something will move there. Like we're still so early in this token that something will move.
Do you think there's any chance they punt on this whole season? Like, is that a thing that they could do? Because they just realize we're not going to get there. And you know what, everyone, we're just going to make a bigger pool for rewards. See you in 2024. It'll be great.
I think someone should just clip the last 20 seconds from Rogue and just have this clip ready where he says, "We're so early, it's gonna go up." That's like famous last word. Like it's going to go up. Famous last words. You're toast.
Damn.
Dunzo.
Well, I tell you what, I almost wish I had some stuff out there when that probably just had some active sale at some 5x from whatever to take advantage of when a big whale comes along and just manipulates the market. That was crazy. I didn't even know that happened until after Sound's video. Till the town hall. And yeah, I had nothing liquid and it happened so quick. I didn't wasn't able to do anything with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Shallow pools and whales. You know how it goes.
I mean, I don't. That's why I'm learning. I'm learning.
Now you know how it goes.
I'll get it next time.
You're learning to cash in off of their manipulation. Is that what you're saying?
I'm trying. Oh yeah.
Great.
Rogue's like, send me the Discord invite next time, guys.
All right. But yeah, so here we are with the final. I think this will probably be the final topic for the show tonight. But Chaos Legion, Aggie's trying. He is trying to get a fast and furious exit out of this. And it's real obvious why, right? Like if anybody's done the numbers, we as a community told Splinterlands, the company, to burn $100,000 of revenue every night.
Yep.
So
Potential revenue.
yeah,
They
if it
weren't
was
selling,
on the
so it's a
shelf,
really good point.
if it was on the shelf, it was going to sell eventually.
Well, that's maybe not true.
Yeah, a couple years.
If the game's still around and it's on the shelf, it will
Yeah,
sell.
yeah. No.
100%.
Eventually, yeah.
100%.
At what
Was
cost
never
to the
worried about
game?
that.
Yeah, the game isn't around anymore. If they're like rolling through editions and it's not selling out, like I don't know that the game survives that.
You could
maybe.
make a new edition, just keep it on the shelf. I mean, a lot of TCGs.
We'll
do
make
that.
a new edition that isn't 15 million, and then like that'll sell out, and then then they literally only have chaos as an option. They're like,
Sure.
all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, if you did something like that. But yeah, I mean,
doesn't matter
the
at this
problem was
point.
that the numbers were
Yeah.
wrong, obviously.
But what we decided to burn $100,000 a night for the company, and so that is why there was a leaderboard promotion here at the very end. Let's go check on this leaderboard here. Wow, that's
RoguePatton's at the top.
look at me go.
RoguePatton, way to go.
Yeah,
Whale.
so
I mean, aggro's
look
going to
at
be
this.
winning some. That's
Actually,
why.
hold on, look at this. Like the right here is like 1,000 packs. That's not like 2,000 packs is like the 80% or the 20% off discount, right? So like that's a standard whale buy would always be purchasing at like that 2,000 mark, right? To make sure that you're hitting that discount. And some of this leaderboard is still under that amount. Like
I mean,
that's, in my opinion, that's sad.
I think it tells you that these would not have sold without destroying the game.
Yeah, well, man, all right. I'm with you.
how do you guys feel about aggro being on the leaderboard?
Oh, I don't care. I think it's great if he wants to put his own money into his
Yeah,
game.
hold
like,
on. Which
why
one
the
is
hell
that?
not?
I thought he was SPS whale. Is what people said.
Oh, is he? Is he SBS whale?
That's what someone told me. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No,
That's
because
what I saw on Twitter.
he's made comments about being up there. He wants to be fourth. He wants the Roonies. But did they specifically call out which 7? Like these are very specific Rooney pictures. Not actually. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, for those of you that are curious, like we've been getting the oh my goodness, oh it's coming to an end, like trying.
It is actually coming to an end, but it may not be quite as quickly as Aggie would like you to believe.
No, not at all. And it's because everybody's kind of cashed out. But like, yeah, they want to push. They needed this lead.
Cashed out? Is that what we're
they
calling it? I
decided-
think everyone's tapped out.
Yeah, they decided to take all of this out of their like promotional pool and tried to turn it into real capital. That is the promotion here. That is the leaderboard. Trying to turn rewards into real capital for the company. I'm kind of mad about it because realistically, the leaderboard itself is set up to not really encourage buying until the very end. People are going to wait until there's such a limited amount of packs left that they can guarantee their spots on the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's
to
built
prevent
for sniping for sure.
Yeah,
It's
prevent
sniping.
sniping. So they're
That's an oversight. I'm sure that going back, you probably wouldn't have built it the same way. Hopefully, they won't do it next time. But you're absolutely right. It's built wrong. The motivations are incorrect.
exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
what I would say, Rogue, here, I mean, I think this is, probably a best case scenario of Chaos Legion exiting, because I was actually, worried about a different case where they didn't have this kind of promotional sale. They didn't have, well, they weren't giving a million packs or whatever to Nifty Arcade or whatever. But I was worried that they would just basically have a bunch of packs in the market and just fire sale them off to any whale that offered them, hey, I'll give you 10 cents a pack. And take the cash and run, just
That would have been worse.
That's what I was afraid of, because I'm like, hey, they're just going to burn them. So why wouldn't they liquidate them at the fire sale for anything they could possibly get for it? So in this case, at least we have some kind of measured exit out of the release.
Yeah. Yeah, Virus is saying only about 3K to steal that 10th spot and nab
Only.
yourself a Rooney. 25K to get first and 100 land plots. What is 100 land plots worth? That's 100 and or
It's
that's
about half that.
it's about half that. So like, oh, half your money
But
back.
Solid.
but here's the thing: is it's not what the land plots are worth. It's what kind of investment are you going to have to put on the land plots to unlock them and
Long
save
more
your
than
monsters.
25K and
Exactly.
probably more than 25K in packs.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these purchases when I was watching, like some of the very first leaderboard positions were like 2,400. And I'm like, that's literally just the max buy. And I guarantee they were just already distributors that were just re-upping their, like they've been running. There's a whole side of this that I don't know, like nobody's ever covered or talked about, I think, except for me. And I don't know if anybody knows the math behind it, but just secondary market pack distribution. Like, what is the profit? What is the margins? What is the strategy to like coming here, buying at 80%, going to the market and selling at 83 or something? Because like I know Rift Watchers, I did it in the last Hive Pump. It's totally possible. And I know Rift Watchers is doing a really good job at that right now because like they have a very unique opportunity on the secondary market because SPS is oftentimes pretty scarce and non-crypto users, right? In order for them to get their hands on Rift Watcher packs, they will 100% use the secondary market here. And we've hovered at this 460 mark, gone all the way up to 470 something. The lowest I've seen it is 440 on this market page. And if you go right now to Hive Engine, it's still 420. And it's been 420 for Lord knows how long. Like they hold their price very well. And so that's room for distributors to come along and just run the same style of business that you would in a physical trading card game store, right? Like you buy from a distributor at a price that is lower than what you sell individual packs for on the secondary market, right? Like your store, your LGS is the secondary market because they get from the distributor. So we're watching the same thing here. And so like those first leaderboard spots were probably just people coming along being like, oh, I'm just making my normal purchase every 2 weeks or whatever. And I'm like, man, is that how the leader, like just a distributor is going to accidentally get like some extra stuff thrown into his like his little box? I was like, man, that's nuts. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, I don't think the leaderboard encouraged any new buying, really. And we'll see
Except
what
for
the
Maggie.
we'll see what the final. I would say the final. What's your guys' predictions? Final 25 or final 50 or final 75? I think it's final 25,000.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like it'll be after that final burn, or after that burn, and we've only got less than 25,000 left. I think that's when all the moves will be made and the leaderboard will be set.
How many packs? It says what? 56,000 have been purchased.
Oh, on the leaderboard? Is that what that
Leaderboard
says?
already? Yeah.
Let's go take a look. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, so 2 days worth of burns. They've saved 2 days worth of burns. But look at all those bonus packs, too. So 56 and bonus for 88K. That's damn near everybody buying at that 20% mark.
I'm gonna get some cheap Chaos Legion cards again. Let's go.
Honestly, that was
That's
one of
what
the
I'm looking
predictions
for.
that didn't happen that I totally thought were going to happen. As soon as we got that last legendary summoner, I expected prices to really come down on a lot of Chaos Legion, and it didn't.
Yeah.
In fact, the legendary summoners are making a run. Fuckers. Like seriously, like I was
Sure.
looking at my little polka bot farm, and I need some extra Quixes, and I was
Oh.
going to the market, and I'm like, it's like $25 for a Quix, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah, man.
But the
it's
real
like back in
question
my
is,
day that was $14 easy.
do
Like,
you need some 50 BCX gin chihuahuas?
Yep. We all need some of those.
yeah, 50. But anyway, yeah. So, any final thoughts for this evening? I think we've covered a nice gambit of
Yeah,
the
don't overlevel your
Splinterverse.
cards.
I just want to know what you did to scare off Ape because he was a no-show.
Did he said
You're like, I definitely want Ape to join, and then he just doesn't show
That's
up.
scary.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the attention. You gotta
He
gotta
did.
harass him. Be like, no, we don't want you. And then he'll
I
show up.
guess I will next time. Like after the show, I'll be like, "Where are you? Like you should be on now." And then he'll join, and there's like an empty room. Be great.
Perfect.
But yeah, Luke, thanks for joining us tonight, brother.
Yeah, it's good to catch up for a moment
Yeah.
and pretend like I know what's going on in Splinterlands.
Oh, you're here for the after show. That's what
I'm here for the drama. Just here for the drama.
here for the drama.
Yeah.
Lorkus, final thoughts, brother.
Don't overlevel your cards.
50 BCX is wrong. It's wrong. It's sin. It's
I
sin.
wanted a gin chihuahua, but that's just not okay.
Oof.
Tails, final thoughts, brother.
Yeah, I mean, everyone adjust your bot farms to visit automate.com.
Automate.com, where bot
Man.
farmers.
I haven't even seen automate.com. I feel like I'm missing out. You guys are selling it so hard. Should I start using it?
Speaking of hard, it's
What?
gonna be it for us tonight. So thank you guys very
Okay.
much for coming out. I appreciate all
that
of your
mean?
guys' participation this evening. Let us know in the comments how you're feeling this week, whether or not everything's going great for you. If you are brave enough to Google search automate.com, please let me know in the comments exactly what is on that website. Don't like link that website. I'm not clicking that. But yeah, no, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. And we will be around for all the weekend
Evermore.
challenges this weekend. Sorry I missed the evening one last weekend. It was my birthday. So I got to spend some extra time with the family.
Happy
got to go out
birthday.
that evening with the wife. Thank you, sir. So, but this weekend I will be around. And then Demore will be Saturday morning as well with that weekend challenge. So come see us, and we will see you guys next time. All right. GG, everyone.